Oh, it's me again. When are you taking your findings to a university? See, if I was the type of person that sought the approval of other people or gave a fuck about what they were thinking or any of that stuff, then I would maybe go and run away to universities and go, excuse me, can you look at my stuff? I seek your approval. Oh, it's important to me. Couldn't give a fuck. You utter spaz. It's a silly wee veiled attempt at trying to attack you somehow or demean you. Again, these fuckwits, I mean, I'm so long in the tooth, hard skinned, I've lived in the west of Scotland my whole life, taken ribbons, been slagged about every aspect of your being in your life, and it's water off a duck's back. You must be an American, right? Or some wet behind the ears English dude. Well, when are you going to take your findings to university? Oh, geez, oh, the slap in the back of the head was immense. Oh, I'm absolutely distraught and destroyed with your backhanded jab. How am I going to cope? You fucking absolute gimpy toe-rot. Toe rags, yes. Toe rots. Toe rots, more like it. Dirty wee fungus hanging about under toenails. You know, it's like Americans come in and say, oh, I fucked your mom. I want to be shouting about that, pal. It's nothing to be proud of. I mean, I should have been a fucking YouTube fucking faceless troll. At least the patter would be good. At least I would cut through. You know, these cunts are fucking terribly weak. And their patter displays how weak they are. Well, I love classical Martin Bryce, yes. I used to be really into it. I need to get back to it. You know, the old finger pickage. Don't you think that maybe those people have put this flat earth topic out to the masses to keep them distracted? Oh, that's right, because there's no an endless plethora of things to keep people distracted. Everything's a distraction, you imbecile. Right? Human beings don't know where they are, don't know why they're here, don't know how it came to be. Right? That's the actual totality of the truth. So all this other stuff that human beings are getting up to, deluding themselves with, this is what life is, this is the meaning of life, this is what I should do in life. These are all ideas that have been offered to them that they've adopted. Right? And they've ran with them. So they've been distracted from the minute they popped out. Okay? All a distraction. Every bit of it. The most important part that they need to remember is you never established where you were. You don't know why it's here, or how you're here, or why you're here. So you can run along with your, oh, do you not think the flat earth topic's there to distract people? So, aye. It's all a distraction, but this one cuts through the distractions, because I'm not interested in politics, religion, ideas of man. I'm not interested in any of that. All I'm interested in is, where are we here? Don't come and tell me you know what life is or you know what I'm supposed to do in my life, because you're a bullshitter, right? So the earth topic cuts through all of that, because number one importance of human beings, First establish where you actually are before you start even considering what you're supposed to be up to. Hope that clarifies that wee mess that you're in. So, maybe things are beyond our comprehension, aye. As I have always stated here at this platform, but I don't think we will ever get, and I'm not saying it's an impossibility to get outside the Earth system, I don't know. But until you get outside the Earth system, you don't know what gives rise to it. Okay? And I'm the very man that's been saying that since day one. So these noobs that think they're hijacking that can go and take a fuck to themselves. Right? Divisiveness, I'm hearing this continually. People are upset to think I'm divisive because practicality takes me to where it takes me to. It's not me that's being divisive. All the name calling, I mean, I'm reacting to people who are constantly misrepresenting me, telling lies about me, misrepresenting my position, lying about who I am as a man. So I'm going to have a bit of contempt for them, and I'm going to bite back. You'll remember, if you go back and you trace the progress, bring my conclusions, I bring my tests, and it's just tests that are objective. And what I'm getting is a barrage of people who think they can treat me like an object, right? And then cry and bitch and whine when I snap back at them. It's not me that's divisive. It's the people who are operating from a bias, a belief system. They're the ones that are divisive. Practicality and being objective is not a divisive position to have. Any one of these people are free to come here and have a discussion with me. I have stipulations. You need to be mannered. You need to know how to carry yourself as a man. You need to know how to be respectful in having a conversation with another man. Right? As soon as I get little whiny bitches coming and trying their sleight of hand jabs or their subtleties of manipulation that they think they can get away with, you bet your ass I'm going to snap right back at them. And now a lot of them are running about acting like victims. So I've called you a fucking moron, whatever. That's justified. All I did was mind my business, bring my practicality, talk about my conclusions and my findings, and the whole flat earth debacle lost its shit. And they're still losing their shit. I've got people asking me, how do clouds work then? Well, I'm listening to feds tearing each other to shreds, trying to figure out what clouds are. But they're coming and asking and demanding me that I explain how clouds work. Well, I could have an explanation. But that's the type of thing that's going on. Respects.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And they're vicious. They're sitting in little cult groups, little gangs, trying to chastise and belittle people on in a gang type mentality. I even heard one of the dipshits referring to Rachie earlier. Like, as if Rachie's some lost little girl who's just following people and that they can just ignore her because she's just a girl. I mean, what is going on with these people? This is what happens when you formulate little cults. As soon as somebody says something you don't like, they don't like, or they don't agree with, they start lambasting. They start trying to tear their character down. People like myself, a woman like Rachel shows more spine and more balls than any of these little fucking weasels. Because she's not afraid to go where practical demonstration takes her. So it's certainly not divisive for me. I've always been an open platform. Anything that's ever been brought to the table here has been up for discussion, and people can come and they can have the discussion about it. But these little narcissists are making stories up and demanding that we go to them. And then you listen to them and they just misrepresent your position. I mean, I listened to one again, yesterday or this morning. Apparently now I'm claiming a rotating rising disk Earth. I mean, they're just losing the plot. And that's what's going to happen when you don't accept reality and what it shows. And at the same time, the scientific method. What's your claim? Let's run it through the scientific method. How did you manipulate the Earth to know that it was moving. If you can't manipulate the earth, then it doesn't count. That's not how it works. Right? It's just the same as these very same people will say things like, well, gas pressure requires a container. We live in gas pressure, therefore Earth's a container. It's a logical, deductive conclusion, which is perfectly rational and perfectly fine. But you don't see me running out there going like, right, well, if that's the case, you've made a claim about the Earth, so how, did you make a hole in the dome? Did you make a hole in the dome to make sure that it was a pressurised container? Ooh, how did you manipulate the dome? Is it irrational to think, well, that ground out there is getting warmer and warmer and warmer? Do you know what? I think it's the sun. The sun's causing that to get warmer. No, doesn't count. No, that's not the truth, because unless you manipulate the sun, I'm not interested. Oh, but it's okay when it suits you. When you want to say that gas pressure requires containment based on practical demonstration, that's fine. But when somebody comes along and shows you practical demonstration that shows a correlation between connection to the earth and something that can resist and a motion and a buoyancy and density gradient, nah, that's not allowed. Did we go through the scientific method to establish that water finds its level? Did we manipulate the oceans? What about relative density disequilibrium? Where did you observe that in nature? Oh, you observed it in the ocean, you seen bubbles rising, and you seen oil coming up and sitting on it. Alright, so did you then manipulate the ocean? To show that the ocean caused your buoyancy and density gradient? No, you never. They're so hypocritical, these people. They've got no shame. They operate in double standards and hypocrisy. Right? Anything you're going to claim about nature, none of you have got access to get outside of nature. We are effects within the realm what we call reality, nature. We are all effects. Everything that we witness and everything that we experience is an effect. Unless we can get to the root source, the thing that gave rise to it all. But nobody's arguing that we're not equipped in order to, look at the effects within the natural world, to study them. So somebody taking apart, and then looking at the mechanics of that and showing it in a practical demonstration that is perfectly feasible. That's how we get progress. Nobody's out there tweaking nature. Oh, what was your naturally observed phenomena? Well, you don't go out and tweak nature. You're no God. You don't have the ability to manipulate nature. Exactly, Glenn Salt. Gas pressure has never been measured without having a physical closed container, ever. Exactly, and that's a perfectly rational, reasonable, logical deduction. Same as, directional vectors require a motion in order to establish a directional vector. It's the very same thing. It's the very same use of reasoning based on practicality. So again, I'm not the divisive one. These people are the ones that think they sit at the top of the scientific method and demand everybody goes through that process, yet they don't. We are practical beings. We comprehend things through practical play. I can establish cause and effect through practicality. I can say, in order to have gas pressure, you need a containment, and I can use demonstrations to show you that. But I can't go up there and prove the containment. I can't go up there and manipulate the containment that would be Earth. That's just ridiculous to demand that of somebody. But they pick and choose, they cherry pick what they accept and what they don't. If it fits their bias, they accept it. If it doesn't, then they show hypocrisy and double standard. It's just a joke. These people are a fucking joke. If you have any knowledge in Gaussian surfaces, stop asking questions and acting like a little sea lion. Just get to your point. because I see globebusters have now got this up, the downward vector, and they're going to come out with all this magnetism and Gaussian plates and yada yada yada. I hope that they demonstrate that they can accelerate gas and liquid towards their stationary Earth without displacement of the gas and liquid occurring. I hope that they can demonstrate that in free fall, what the cause would be for the motion of buoyancy and density, the motion vector ceasing to be in free fall. I hope they display all these things practically. But I highly doubt it. This again is just a presupposition, a postulation that people are seeking to prove, rather than just go with what reality actually shows them. And the ego kicks in, they don't want to be wrong, so they'll ignore what I've just said and what I've shown, and they'll continue on their little path of banging their head off a wall, trying to make it work. So same as these dipshits, you know, with the relative density disequilibrium, you know, objects have impulse and the ability to move by themselves. You know, the reason things fall is because the air beneath it can't support it because it's more dense. Why does it not fall up the way or sideways? Or, that's just the way it is. And now I'm getting people saying it was programmed that way. You know, all these gibberish, again, just like the globe. Looking at phenomena, not going through a process of practicality, making assumptions about these things, and then running away with their assumption and trying to construct some model based on an assumption. Atmospheric pressure pushes objects down towards their surface, does it? So down here at Earth, it's where the most pressure is, right? So if I go 20 miles up into the sky and I've got a lead ball and I let it go, by your reasoning, there's more beneath. There's more pressure beneath. So why is it not pushing it up the way? Why doesn't it not push it sideways? I mean, you need to stop this nonsense now. Honestly, it's fucking embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. Rob, how you doing, mate? Hope you're well. Nah, they're not worth my time, mate. These people have shown exactly what they are. You know, people like myself, even Rachel, you know, you go and you try and have, they think that they're being objective when they make these idiotic demands of you. They're not being objective. People like myself and Rachel go to try and have a reasoned discussion with these people. Because we can understand things and we can have progress, like we have technological advancement based on practicality, which is cause and effect. You know, we can create things and show the effects of things. We can do all sorts. Right? That's the way we reason. But these people don't want to have a discussion. They just want to try and get you in a corner and attack you. It's, you know, like the Nathan Oakley crew, you know, they shit on the chessboard and then run about acting like they've won. They're pathetic. Absolutely pathetic, empty shells of human beings. And they deserve me saying this. Again, you go and look at the timeline. I didn't go to them shouting and making demands and this, that and the other. They came to me. They lost their shit because they do not like what practical reality is demonstrating for them. So you need to ask yourself why that would be. That's up to you to decide. But as I say, there's loads of double standards. People are fine, you know, if I demonstrate how water behaves. I'm not out there manipulating the oceans. I can take a section of it and I can go, look, this is how water behaves and you accept that. Or I can say gas needs a containment in order to have pressure. That's a logical conclusion based on what practical demonstration shows you. And then you can say, well, we live in gas pressure, so we must be in some sort of containment. That's fine. And they make these statements. I even heard the Arwinge character, what did they say? RDD is a scientific experiment. Relative density disequilibrium is a scientific experiment. So by taking a little container with water in it and putting salt in it and watching an egg rise through the salt, they're saying that's a scientific experiment. It's just a practical demonstration. It's not an observed natural phenomena with a manipulation of the independent variable, that being the ocean or whatever. Right? And they're quite happy with that because it suits their bias. But then I come and I say, well look, you know, here's buoyancy and density and motion, or here's water and gas, no displacement and free fall and blah blah blah. You know, my conclusion is that the earth must be in motion because as soon as it's connected again with the earth or something that can resist it within the earth, we see the motion happening again. That's a perfectly logical conclusion to come to, because that's what the demonstrations show you. But they don't like it. Well, they ad hoc their already debunked gibberish and start adding new stuff into it. So, when the paint in your car starts bubbling, right, and you go out and you say, oh no, the sun's made the paint in my car bubble. What was your observed natural phenomena? Your independent variable would be the sun, because that's your claim that that caused the effect. So, now you need to manipulate the sun. If you can't explain or prove what mechanism moves the resonant frame up, it's special pleading. No, it's no. No, it's no. Special pleading would be me saying, no, angels spoke to me and it's angels that are at the boat, mate, pushing it. They're using their wings to fly. That would be special pleading because it's an absurdity. Just like an acceleration that does not cause displacement of gas and liquids within a contained vessel. Because we don't ever witness that in reality. That's special pleading. I make no claims of what is going on outside the reference frame, but I can tell what's going on from within. If you can't explain to me or prove the mechanism that made you move your fingers and type that into the keyboard, you don't exist. How about that? That's your reasoning. If you cannot explain and show me the mechanisms of your consciousness and what made your physical body move in order to type those words onto the chat box, then if you can't show me the mechanism or explain it, you don't exist. You are invalid. See how ridiculous that reasoning goes? Bum sniffers. Fucking wee snivelling bum sniffers. I've got hundreds of proof that it's the reference frame that's in motion. My conclusion, I can show you it. My conclusion comports with the physics of motion, with mechanical physics. Right? I'm not making it up. I can invert the density gradient in any direction. I can change the rate at which an object falls or something rises within a particular medium using motion. Anywho, I shall not be responding to any more of this shite. Richard G, he's another one of these little fucking scuttling fuckwits that runs about bad-mouthing us and everybody else's chat, so Richard G can go and take a fuck to himself. Ta-ta, Richard. So that, they're trying to reverse the burden again because they're saying that they're not making a claim, right? Because they're saying non-motion, making a claim that they're stationary. That's what I experience. Right, okay then. So let's have a look at something else. When we look out into the world, right, and we look along train tracks, right, that's your experience. That's your visual experience. Train tracks converge. The sky appears to come down, the floor appears to rise up. According to these fuckwits, that's your experience, that's the way it is. The fact is that you do experience it. You experience your own weight. You experience a directionality. You know what up and you know what down is. You see things apparently fall into the earth when you let them go. They don't go sideways or up the way or diagonal. They go to the earth apparently. Appears that way. So they think they're so, intellectually cleansed, as I say, and they're just full of hypocrisy and contradiction left, right and centre. Objects have a tendency to travel in the path of least resistance. That's just words, that's just a feelsy words thing. That's not a mechanism for somebody that's claiming they are stationary and objects accelerate towards it. Not only that, gas and liquid are accelerating towards their stationary earth without displacement occurring. And then they think they've got an answer to that, and it's just an endless barrage of nonsensical word salad. Let's see, because Ryan Q. Vincent's always looking for somebody to confirm his wee bias. So what's Tachi saying? What actually release objects to make them decelerate? The air surrounding them. And by asking me that question, right, this is where your burden comes in. Because by asking me that question, you think that an object that's put into motion should continually move. Once the power source, the thing that gave it its motion, is no longer present, you seem to think it should just keep moving. I'm going to say that an object's tendency is to be absolutely stationary. So in a moving reference frame, where every object within it is moving with the reference frame, the objects within it, their tendency is just to be stationary, true stationary. So there's no longer a power source that's supplying motion, giving them motion. You take that away, things lose their momentum. Not only that, they're surrounded by air and there's air drag. People have got this idiotic impression that if I was to say the earth was moving uniformly, linearly, that means the air's all moving linearly. Like that. The air's not moving. It would be the earth. The earth would be causing a compression of the air, and the air's going to bounce and spread and splay until it settles and it's going to form a layer just like water. Right? And then when you add a heat source into that, it's expanding and contracting and moving in all different directions. So when you let something go in the air, it's subject to air drag. Objects lose momentum when there's no force acting on them anymore, or something pushing them. Because they're always tending to be totally stationary. So in a moving reference frame, I can look at things on the table and say, well, that object's at rest. Yes, it's at rest within the reference frame. It's not truly stationary. So questions like that show me that you think objects should move perpetually. Or you think that if I say the earth's moving uniformly, linearly, then you think the air's all moving like that as well, because you're a retard. You're retarded. It's just as simple as that. There's no other explanation. You pick something up, you put energy in it, here we fucking go again. Energy's a concept. Energy is a concept to explain motion. We have motion transfer, where things are felt through other bodies when motion happens. Fuck all to do with the mathematical conceptual gibberish of energy. Motion transfer, no energy transfer. That's just crap. Here we go, there's Flatardzoid in. The one that misrepresents me continually. Can anybody point to me any time that I ever denied? What is it he said? I love how you deny gas particles. Flatzoid, right? Misrepresented me, right? I don't deny gas. I deny the conceptual mathematical depiction of gas, that being little dots. Right? That's what I deny. And Flatzoid knows that fine well. So Flatzoid thought he was going to debunk me. Ha ha ha! Dell denies particles. Oh, doesn't even realise he's in heliocentric globetard land. Right? Atomism, little balls of stuff. Cuckoo, retard. Anyhow, he then goes to find a video of gas particles and brings up a cartoon. And then realises, oh no, that's a cartoon. Dell will just say that's mathematics. So I better get another example, and then starts to scroll down and realises, but doesn't have the cojones to admit his stupidity, realises that there is no actual real video of gas particles because it's a cartoon depiction of somebody's imaginative concept of what gas is. So I ask the question, oh, your little gas particles, that being little dots of stuff, what's between them? What's between these little balls or circles? What's between the gas particles? If you showed me gas particles, that being, little cubes that were all perfectly, joined to each other, then that would be a better visual concept because, this idiotic notion that there's space between air is fucking retarded, just like you, Flatardzoid. You fucking muppet. Tried to show Bernoulli's principle. You showed a cartoon, a depiction of how they imagine it's working. Again, this is the globe-tardedness that's still in people at Flatzoid. They've no let go of the baggage of the fucking paradigm that they're supposedly left. And then they cherry pick for the paradigm that they constantly backhander. Right? Bernoulli's principle. Doesn't he comprehend that Bernoulli's principle is something that we apply practically? But the depictions of gas and gas particles are imaginative. They're illustrations to give dumb fucks like Flatzoid some sort of visual. They're not the actual thing. So yes, I deny gas particles the way they're depicted. Yes, you fucking muppet. Globals used to come and they would show you cartoon depictions of stuff and I'd say that's a cartoon. Now you've got Flatardzoid showing you cartoons of gas particles. Yeah, see, gas particles. Or else he'll sit there and go, the reason they don't separate is because impulse. It has impulse. It's not moving, but it has impulse. Then word salads away into trying to describe how gas and liquid accelerate to the earth without the displacement occurring. Well, he sits there and misrepresents me, telling barefaced lies about me, and then bitches and whines when I call him a fucking moron. Got nothing but contempt for you, son. Fuck off. You're not really welcome here. You've got nothing to offer. You've no honesty. You're just a little fucking shit-stirring, lying, manipulative fuckwit. You've not equipped to sit and have a discussion with me. You've shown that. Same as the rest of your little crews. They're not equipped to discuss with me. They're no men. In the true sense. They're no stand-up. Jog on. Now the helicopter, what, the one Xander? Xander builds all these things. There's no helicopter there, no. That's a Crookes radiometer. There's a lot of discussion about how this actually works. Why certain You know, lights don't make it move, but in direct sunlight it spins like a motherfucker. There's loads of conceptual ideas about what's actually going on and why that happens. But it's an interesting query. Again, motion's happening. So there's a cause to that motion. You know, it's an inquiry I shall be getting into in the near future. No, they never come here. Flatardzoid's messaging me, demanding that I go to his monetised, begging fucking dipshittery with his fucking Valium-laden fucking crack addict buddies sitting in the background, patting him in the back for his utter stupidity. No, I've been here before any of these fuckwits. It's always been an open platform. If you want to have a discussion about it and you're that triggered, come and speak to me. It's no difficult. Better open this up. As I say, people like myself have shown, I've tried to have discussions with these people. They're not interested in a discussion. They're just interested in attaching a straw man to you. It's like before when I used to go to maybe a Glober and straight away they'd be asking me questions about a flat earth map or how does this work and how does that work, and you have to stop them and say, you know, they're not my claims. I'm going to speak to my claims and my claims only. You know, Flatzoid again the other night was trying to show that I make the claim that the Earth's accelerating. Now, in order to prove that I made that claim, Flatzoid never brought up any citation of me actually saying that. No, he showed Sabine Hossenfelder, Brian Cox, some of these other people talking about acceleration and then flicking back to me and saying, see, Dell claims acceleration. That's how dishonest and how fucking imbecilic he is. Fucking cretin. Dell, you explain it as swing ball earth, correct? No! Listen very, very carefully. Very, very carefully. I make no decisive, conclusive, objective claim to the way in which the motion of the earth actually is. We can't even get that far because we're still trying to explain to fucking imbeciles the mechanics of physical reality. If you pay attention to the previous videos, I make the statement that there could be any number of possible variations of motion that we could be involved in here. But you don't hear the bits. You just hear what you want to hear. Take it and say, Dell said this. Because that's how dishonest you are, son. Your position's so weak that you have to misrepresent me every chance you can get. It's sad. You're just a sad wee guy. Anyhow, that'll be you ignored now, fucktard. I've looked at some of that D-Doc, I've got one saved there. Well, here's another little good video that came up for me. Oh, wait a minute, I need to come back. Wait a minute. You know, again, you get these people coming, what about magnetism? You say there's no such thing as pull and blah, blah. You know, as I've shown with magnetism, magnetism's the same principles as mechanical reality. You know, well, there's a push mechanism, although it's not a contact, like a physical contact. And, you know, this little video came up that shows that point greatly. I'm going to screen share and show you.
Fastener from Lamello. Basically what it is, it's two pieces of wood that magically are joined together. I can release it again or put it together as many times as I want to. It's not magic, it's only a screwdriver, okay? There's a screw, there's a screwdriver. The screwdriver drives the screw. I can reverse it and drive the screw the other way. Handling jobs, same thing. Run around with my screwdriver and my table leg is completely fixed.
Neat little tool. But again, that goes back to people like Eric Laithwaite, who again showed through practicality how these things function. And then from there we get, advancement in certain texts and stuff. So practical play has always been the way. It's the way that we understand things, And again, it just shows exactly what I've been saying all along about, the same principles apply even when we talk about magnetism, If there's motion that happens through magnetism, it's because of that. Eric Laithwaite showed a great example of a rack and pinion system, right? So you've got the cog here and you've got the rack, and it's a manual. So he pushes the rack, and obviously the teeth hit the teeth of the wheel and it turns, or you can turn the wheel and move the rack. Then he replaces the rack with, magnets, and he does the same process, and the cog correlates to the direction of the rack being moved. So we can see these things in nature, it's everywhere. The same principles apply, In order to have motion, something has to push on something else. Pull's only a descriptor of relative direction to an observer. It's got nothing to do with a mechanism of motion, right? Clouds. What about clouds? What about clouds? It's the same principles of things being dense and buoyant. I don't know what your point is. Or is this us back to it again? Oh no, clouds. We must smack into the clouds. There's air in between them. Air's being compressed onto the earth, causing a density band. Don't know what it is. In regards to the rotational thing, where maybe people have misheard, when people were asking me about the luminaries, again, for one, we don't know what these luminaries are. We don't have access to them. So anybody making any definite statements is a liar. But, for me to conceive that, what we call the universe or reality, I would say that they're intrinsically connected. It's like a machine. There's no something that's separate from another. And as I say, the whatever's going on up there could be, is some sort of rotational device. And in mechanics, we comprehend that, in order to have, motion of things, especially when you've got parts moving, you need a lubricant. So I don't doubt that there's going to be some aspects of this whole thing that has that as lubricant. Whatever it may be in whatever form it is. People say, there's water up there and there's this and that. I don't know. I don't have access to any of these things. And again, flat earthers are employing again the hangover from their globe earth, where they think the planets or these lights in the sky are things that are disconnected from the earth. So if I then say, well, the earth is maybe in motion, they then say, well, how can that be? Because the earth would hit the planetoids. What keeps them up there? Again, I'm not saying that they're floating. I would say that they're connected to something, they're machine-like. So if the whole thing's in motion, you can have a rotational part, which you would call the sky, and the whole thing's in some sort of linear or rotational motion, while the sky, the mechanisms of the sky is in a rotation. I mean, there's all sorts of possibilities. The next upload video is going to be talking about the possibilities of the motion of the earth. Whether it be linear, whether it be centrifugal, or whether it be, some sort of centrifugal mechanism, but well, it's not a centrifuge because we're beyond the face of that. So imagine you had, three-dimensional space and you had objects here and you come into contact with them and you just keep pushing on them in a circular motion. There's all different variations that we can utilise. But we can't even get to talking and discussing these possibilities because you've got fucking idiots like that just misrepresent you. Take everything out of context, misrepresent you, twist what you're saying, and then present it as if they've made a point. It's bizarre. A lot of these people, when I'm watching, it's unintelligible. They're just saying stuff that doesn't have any, connection to some sort of practicality, where the integers are related to the practical. They're just ad hoc and total gibberish. Go and watch Flatzoid and you'll see what I mean. When asked about why, gas and liquid don't separate under conditions of acceleration, which it must because that's what we witness in everyday life, he starts coming up with gibberish. And finishes it with, it's the impulse. Impulse. What? Give me 2 seconds. Sorry about that. Oh. This. Anyhow, so that's what I need. You need to prove gas are particles, son. That's your claim. Impulse is an action on something. Objects are inanimate. They do not have any attributes of motion whatsoever. An object, Flatzoid and these people think that object sitting on the table has impulse. Impulse is something that acts upon an object, changes its direction or its speed or its whatever. It's a force. Impulse is an action on something. It's not something that something has, unless you're talking about psychology, where humans have impulsive behaviour. Right? That's something totally different. Inanimate material matter doesn't have some property that we show as impulse. Can you get any matter and take the impulse out and show me it? What are you fucking talking about? It's so retarded. And he keeps acting like he's got something. It's bizarre. This is Dunning-Kruger in full flight. And this idiot thinks he's representing flat earth. He is. Retarded flat earth. Utter gibberish flat earth. Objects do not have impulse. Impulse is an action upon matter. You fucking retard. I'm going to keep calling you while you're displaying your retardedness for me, son. I'm not misrepresenting you at all, wee sacks. You're the one that's here showing it. Everybody can see what you're writing. I'm taking exactly what you're saying and conveying it. I'm not adding anything onto it. You sure it does that, you fucking idiot, little piece of shit? See us, but he's shiting it. He's shiting it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. That's the one. Kids, man, kids. Right, anyhow. Where am I? The one, right? The one. You can let me know when you're ready, and you can come in and have a chat. Anyhow. My tattoos, we're back to my tattoos again. My tattoos are from a time when I wanted to be edgy and windswept and interesting, when I was still operating from being an absolute fucking deluded shit stain. They don't mean anything to me now. I was trying to be windswept and interesting and edgy and interesting. You know, look at me and my tattoos. Now I could not give a fuck. They're just scars from a time when I was mentally ill. Right, that's it. I'm back to tattoos again. Flatzoid, you can join me just now, right? Stop acting like a needy little cretin. I told you when you emailed me, I'm here anytime. You just email me and say I fancy a chat, and if I'm here I'll switch it on and we'll have a chat, son, right? You can bring your practical demonstrations. You're needy. You're calling it all rubbish and this, that and the other, and you're here and you're making videos about it, and so is Arwinge, and so is the Fed crew, and so is everybody that thinks it's just a load of rubbish. But you have to constantly talk about it because they're triggered, because some natural thing in there's eating away at you, eating away at your ego until it's going to erode, and eventually you're going to accept the reality that you exist in. Instead of trying to delude yourself into thinking you're some fucking, high intellect that knows objects have impulse. I don't know, SC Montreal, but just because I don't have the answers to that right now doesn't negate the practical demonstrations and what they imply. So you can keep making demands of that. What's beneath your flat earth then? What's supporting your flat earth? See, I can just be as obtuse and fucking retarded as these people. What's beneath you? What's holding your stationary earth up? What's beneath it? What powers it? Huh? Answer my questions now. Run along, spanked again. See you later. Fucking imbecile. Ask any of these people what my actual claims are, because they're all busy telling you about my claims and how I don't support my claims. Ask them to get my actual claims. What my actual claims are. They don't know. They don't know, because they're just full of fucking nonsense. Del, heat energy from the lake of fire below the earth keeps the earth suspended and stationary. Okay. Cheers for that. So what makes objects move towards the earth then? If the earth's stationary, Flatzoid, and I'm holding something, I let it go. What makes the object go towards the earth? Answer, please. If it's no impulse now, what is it now? What's your new gibberish? I'd love to hear it. Remember, in Flatzoid's world, the earth's stationary means I'm stationary. When I'm holding the object, it's now stationary, and if I let it go, they must assert that the object accelerated towards the earth. What was the cause of the motion, Flatzoid? It's denser. And gas is impulse. There you go. You heard it straight from the horse himself. Make sure you read it so that they don't claim I'm misrepresenting them. Weight. Now it's weight. Weight's not a force either. Weight does not cause motion. What is wrong with you? Do you not understand the basics of physical reality and the laws of motion? Motion requires a force. Force is motion. Something moves, affects something else, and it has a knock-on effect, a transfer of motion. Saying something's heavier doesn't mean anything. Weight is not a force of motion. Weight is caused by motion, yes. Just as you can see with motion, your weight's relative. If say you go to a sticky wall, you know, one of these rotating centrifuge type fun fairs, and depending on how fast I rotate that is going to increase your weight. Your weight. Weight's not something that's a constant, it's not an intrinsic value of anything. It's an effect of motion, yet again. Oh, how about that? Let him make an ass of himself. Yes, it is when falling, it's its own motion. There we go. There's the jolly man with his divine answer. Objects move by themselves. See, proof that I'm not making this up. This is what these people actually spout. This is what they believe. This is embarrassing. They've not got a grasp on what the fuck they're talking about. Purple burglar alarm. Hey, do I get a prize for that, Mike? Is there a prize? Flatroyd's lost. He's acting like he does in his podcast with the fucking sycophantic retards running about him. And he just comes out with, so Dell again, pressure. What are we talking about now? What is he talking about? Does anybody know? Is there somebody that can clarify it for me, please? No, they don't. Edit. Can there be falling at acceleration? No, because in order to accelerate something you need a cause. If the Earth's moving in a linear, postulating here, right? No an affirmative claim like these fuckwits want to present me as. If the Earth's moving in a linear fashion, say at a set rate, okay, we'll just give it a set rate of whatever, 100 mile an hour, whatever you want. That means that the reference frame and everything within it, its whole contents, right, are now moving at that speed. So I can help you to understand this. This is another idiotic notion of flatardoid. So if you're now in an elevator, right, and it's moving at 100 mile an hour, right, and you're standing in that thing and you're holding something, right, say you've got a pole with a little ledge on it and you're holding something like that, and you've got different levels to it with different objects on it, right, and you then remove all those supports, then the distance between you and those things is going to have a different impact, because there's a different time for things to slow down. So like if I use the car example, if you've got one car tethered to another car pushing it, right, at 100 mile an hour, and you remove the tether, the thing that's connecting them, but this car was moving because it is the power source of this one. So when you remove that connection, this no longer has the power to keep its speed that it was going at. And when you remove that, it's going to lose its momentum, so there's going to be an impact with this one. Right? So we just invert it like that. So then if we increase the length of the tether, so that now there's a rod between the two and one's pushing the other at 100 miles an hour, and you remove the tether. This one has more time to slow down, decelerate, lose momentum, so the impact's greater. Everything is already in motion, so they'll lose their momentum. And if it's at a greater height, it has more time to lose more momentum, so the greater the impact's going to be. It's very, very simple. No, terminal velocity would be stationary. An object's terminal velocity when it reaches true stationary. Terminal velocity. End of. No more. Exactly, JC23, but you can't even reach these people in that sense because they're so enamoured by garbage, right, and their mantric statements and the things that they've solidified themselves within that they just can't break out of it. Whatever flat earthoid, you've not got a clue what you're talking about, son. Again, I had two cars, right, and I had a long enough tether between the two of them, right, and I done that and inverted it, so now we're moving vertically, right. So if this one's pushing this one at 100 miles an hour, if there's enough space between, the one at the top, when I remove the tether, is going to have enough time to decrease, lose its momentum until it reaches zero terminal velocity, and the impact from the one that was pushing it is going to be maximum. It's so simple. The reason the feather takes longer to hit the floor is because its rate of deceleration is slowed down because the air's pushing on it. The air can resist it to a degree, so it slows its rate of deceleration. There you go. Simple. I know Mark K, but the Mark 18, they don't bother with looking into the words and what they mean. And the air's in constant motion. It's why is that so difficult for you to comprehend? The air wouldn't be moving straight up like that. It's not a solid. It's compressible, it's a gas. It displaces under conditions of motion. Are you daft? Any literalists, when the earth hit the top, then the great reset question mark? Well, you know, I don't know what you mean by top, but if the earth was in a set motion or a constant, and for some reason it slowed, or it came to a sudden halt, then you and I and anything that's no tied down is going to go fucking boom straight up until we lose our momentum, because we would all keep continuing at the same rate that we already are continuing at. If it slowed down or it stopped suddenly, when boom, you would just keep heading straight up until you lost momentum. And then once you'd lost your momentum, if the earth stopped moving altogether, you'd just be floating about in mid-air. Because there's nothing to give you an orientation, a direction, there's nothing. Stationary doesn't work, it's ridiculous. slow down without a force. It's an example of how it could be. It's explaining things in a way to comprehend. No affirmative claims. But that's what would happen. That's demonstrable again, flat hardzoid. But you don't like physical reality. So if you were standing on a skateboard and you were going along on your skateboard and it came to a sudden stop, you would go flying and smash your ugly wee fucking face into the pavement. Exactly, JC23. Anything that's stationary has no vector. It has no directionality. It's totally and utterly bunk. How can anybody that's professing to comprehend any aspect of physics or physical reality profess that something that's stationary has an orientation, a directional vector to it? It's fucking ridiculous. The antecedent to a directional vector is fucking motion. Another fundamental fact that they evade and avoid like the fucking plague. How do you establish anything's directional vector unless there's motion? Ask yourself that. How can anything have a directional vector if it's static, no moving, no motion whatsoever? Tell me something, where has anyone been off the earth to make Dell's claim? We're here on earth, the claims can be backed by practicality. Can anybody tell me when Flatzoid got outside the dome to affect the dome for his gas pressure, or to see stationary earth, or establish what's propping his stationary earth up, or any of that stuff? No. But yet again, I don't make any claim to what's going on outside the earth. I don't know. I don't go about asking idiotic questions. Just like a globe earther. Oh, your earth's flat, is it? Oh, what's underneath it then? If you can't answer that, then your flat earth's rubbish. That's what Flatardzoid's up to right now. And the rest of these little fucking cronies. Asking imbecilic questions that they think are gotcha questions, but it just displays how illogical and untrustworthy and dishonest they are. As soon as I start making claims about what's outside the reference frame, then your questions will stand. Then the burden's on me to answer to that. But until then, I'm just going to put a mirror in your face and ask you the very same ridiculous questions. What's your stationary earth connected to? What's supporting it? No only that, how does your stationary earth get a directional vector to it? Motion does not happen on its own. I know, exactly. You need a force, which is what's been stated here over and over and over again. So, stationary earth, stationary being, stationary object, you assert the object accelerates towards the earth. What's your force? Explain. What is your force that makes the object accelerate towards the earth? Go for it. That's your claim. Well done. You've realised the absurdity of your fucking position. Now, give us an answer. And no one's flower agrees with you. Just the same as I agree with you. So what's your answer? I'm waiting. When you throw something, Dale, come on, man. No. I'm not throwing anything. I'm just holding it here. And you are saying the earth's stationary, which means I am stationary and the object is stationary. Now I let it go and you assert that accelerated towards the earth. What made the motion happen? Chop, fuckwit. Could it not be an unseen, unexplained force? What, like the globe earth? What, like gravity? Here no one's flower. Here's a thing for you. The special pleading of a globe earth. When I let a water bottle go with gas and liquid in it, Under conditions of acceleration in any direction, the gas and the liquid displace. Right? But when I let it go, flat earthers and globe earthers are claiming that it accelerated towards the earth, but no displacement occurs in the gas and the liquid. So what's your unseen magic that we've never witnessed in our life? Are you another one that's here to spout globe rhetoric, are you? Good on you. Let's see it. Exactly, Alec. Hope you're well, mate. Nice to see you there. Relative to us, it appears to go down, Flat Arzoid. That's the problem you've got. There's a directional vector that I keep saying that has to be accounted for. Saying it's more dense doesn't account, because if it's just that it's more dense, why does it not go up the way? Or sideways, or any other direction? Why does it go straight towards the earth? That's what you're missing. That's what all you fuckwits are missing. You don't comprehend the implications of your position, which is retarded. Because now you need to come up with some unknown, unexplained magic, like a globe earth. Well done. Yes, we do know one's flower. I'm just saying that we don't have obvious explanations for every single force causing a motion. A force is motion! That's what it is! It's in the equation! Force is derived as just the term given to motion. F equals ma. Mass has to be moving somewhere so that they can derive force. It's all taken from motion. This is what I mean. When did you stop thinking? A long time ago, and now you're here spouting your incredulity, your utter stupidity. And I have to accept that, because you don't comprehend what you're even talking about. A force is a cause of motion. Yes. Now, show me a force that's no motion. Go for it. How do you express force without motion? Do you not even comprehend what you're talking about? Wow. Fucking wow. No wonder the globe earthers are flooding these channels. Having a right fucking barrel of laughs. Do you see them flooding my channel? Do you see them rushing in here to speak to me? No, you don't. Because I know what I'm talking about. Fuck me, man. Who's angry? See, here we go again. The labelling. For one, why is anger being treated as something negative? Irrational. Confused anger is a problem. I'm just passionately conveying my contempt at the utter stupidity, which I have every right to do so. This is where I express, this is where I project character, right? And have a bit of entertainment. This is what I do. This is the persona I project. If you don't like it, fuck off. If you come and visit me, you'll not get any of this. Okay? Snowflake. Have we got any response yet about non-motion forces? Exactly, Richie. Nice to see you there. Hope you're well. No, James, I did not expect anything less. I never expected the level of stupidity that's rising to the surface to be so prominent, to be honest with you. But it's good, because it gives clarity on this whole community that they like to rant and rave about. But don't say anything that they don't like, or you'll be ousted from their community. Yes, Andrew, a resistance to emotion is how a force is measured. Just saying F equals ME is no an answer, flat side. I'm Rachie. And Rachie, you know, I see that you're always trying to be amicable, right? Which is a trait that I admire, and you be you. My contempt, as I say, Rachie, you'll comprehend this. I just bring this stuff. These people are coming and lambasting. You've seen them misrepresenting, barefaced lying, and then they bitch and whine and moan about me getting annoyed at it. You know, it's no me that's divisive or wanting to have this sort of communication with these people. I'm trying to just have a dialogue. I'm like you tried to just have a discussion. It's so difficult because they're just hell bent on attack. They're operating from a bias, you know, that they just want to attack from because they see you as a threat. They don't realise that the threat they're feeling is their own insecurity, and they need to address that. The only thing we're offering is practicality, reasoned responses and questions to the practicality and the claims that are being made about it. It's as simple as that. And as you see, they're still not responding. They're stationary Earth. They say everything's stationary and they say things accelerate to the Earth. They don't comprehend they need a mechanism, they need a force for that. And now they're just coming up with, oh, weight, impulse, other gibberish. It blows my mind. Fucking blows my mind. Aye, angry men is a good thing. Men should be fucking right angry right now. A good dose of healthy anger at the shit that's going on around us. And they've done a number on, you know, turning men into needy little fucking pouting, selfie taking fucking chocolate arsewipes. All running about pouting, taking selfies. Oh, I can't say that because that's offensive and I can't. Namby-pamby little fucking dweebs. Well, they try and act like big hard men. Going on podcasts, pouting. I'm praying that Dell resolves his anger issues. My irrational depressive anger left a long time ago. Now I have just a healthy contempt for bullshit. So as long as there's bullshit in front of me, that anger's never going to go away, because I don't tolerate bullshit and lying, manipulative pish. Right? What would I be if I never stood up to that and allowed my children just to wander into a fucking derpy world of fucking weak, snivelling, needy crap? No chance. Not a fucking hope in hell. Sorry about that. I'll make a wee smoke and I'll see what's happening. See there, you know, SE Montreal, Rich, you think you're accelerating nipples? Really? 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 More manipulative language. The one you're ready, right, hang on a wee second here. Just let me make this. Been keeping up with the whole fucking alien shite that I spoke about a long time ago. Yeah? Told you it was coming. We'll have a discussion about that some other time. That's a whole other topic in itself. But they're hammering on with that narrative. You know, the saturation is happening more and more every single day. You know, it's in a serious tone now. Well, it's a matter of national security. We must be concerned. This is a new threat. Be aware. That's what's coming. Right, I'm going to go and do a quick bish. And I'll be back. The one wants to join for a conversation, so we're back in 2 minutes. Send me a link. Right, link sent to the one. The lighter is heavier than the air. See, they just keep saying this. Weight's relative. Weight's not a force. Why are you no grasping that? Demonstrate weight's a force then. Extract weight from anything. Exactly, Mike Jones. Exactly. Weight equals gravity? What? Eh? Why does a healing boon rise when released? Because it has impulse. Yes, Tupac, they're still having tantrums. They were eating each other. They've asked a silly question to me. Oh, how do clouds work? And they've never established what clouds actually are either, right, for one. And that's evident in one of the last videos that I listened to, where they tore strips off each other, arguing about what clouds are. These people are always going to consume themselves because they're not there for truth. They're operating through their ego, and that's always going to end up in disaster. Fucking let them have it. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm going to continue on demonstrating, talking about the practical, as I always have done. They don't get a rise out of me, Kev. They're useful to me. They're useful because they let us highlight the possibilities of the way other people may be thinking. So it's good. Again, they can treat me like an object, like I'm not a human, and throw their hatred at me left, right and centre and tell lies about me all they like. As soon as I switch this off, I give them no fucks whatsoever. I'm not interested in them. I'm only interested in the facts. What can be demonstrated? No, you're religious not because you believe in God. No, not at all. It's a perfectly rational position to have, that there's a creator. Andrew Execrate 200, as I've expressed before, is a man of Christ, but still accepts reality for what it is. So don't start that shite here either. There is no racism, there's no exclusion of any group whatsoever. This is about objective inquiry. This is why I'm trying to highlight to people, look at the behaviour of these people. Right? They do not have the ability to come and have a discussion. Right? They don't have it in them. And you have to ask why that is. The stuff I'm presenting is repeatable. Everybody can demonstrate it for themselves. And then we can have a discussion about it. It's as simple as that. I'm not aiming it at you exclusively, Michael Can. I'm just saying, don't let that be a factor here, or anybody try and influence you that that's a factor here. Because I don't give a fuck what your religious beliefs are, your skin colour, your sexual preference. No interested in any of it. Has no bearing on any of this whatsoever. Couldn't care less. Well, I'm trying to help you say this, Montreal, because I comprehend your position, which is nonsensical, and I'm trying to help you to realise your position. You've got a stationary earth, you've got stationary objects, but yet you're invoking acceleration without a force. And trying to say weight or the density of an object or any of these gibberish statements, that's not a force. If you're claiming acceleration from a stationary position, you require a mechanism for that. You need a force. That's the facts. You don't need to like it, that's the fact. If you get into the real world, that's what the real world's going to tell you. Hello.
Hey Dill, can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me stop my other thing. All right, I just wanted to start off, man. I've listened to you speak for well over 1,000 hours, and I think you're one of the best philosophers, off the cuff philosophers out there. When did you figure out we weren't stationary?
As soon as I started looking at these practical references, it starts from the claim of a globe. And then it progressed into the claims from flat Earth, which is stationary.
Okay.
The thing that decides it for me is that, again, the water example, gas and liquid displace under conditions of acceleration. We let the bottle go, we see no signs of acceleration whatsoever because there's no displacement. Stationary, as I've expressed, stationary anything does not give a directional vector, it is not a force. That's why.
Okay, so about what would you say? It's like 3 months ago you started addressing this claim pretty aggressively.
Aye, well, the process, the thought process, and the contemplation started probably over a year ago. If you get back to one of the videos that I put up where I said that the Flat Earth Society claim makes more sense than a globe claim, and I expressed why, again through the practical means, and it probably, aggressively progressed from there.
Okay. All right. Before we get into this, I'd like to address one thing, because I think you display or explain mechanisms of force better than anybody out there, so I'm not even going to try and compete with you on that. But I've been wanting to ask you for years now, a magnet, like a fridge magnet, actually displays a pulling force.
Does it?
And I mean, I can measure it. I feel it pulling, the north, whatever's in the North Pole is pulling magnets to it, right?
What do you mean by pulling?
Well, I mean, you can literally feel it in your hand. You can feel that energy. I could put
explain the mechanisms of pull.
Well, no, this is what I don't want to get into, because you explain it very well, but when it comes to a magnet does pull things towards it, right?
Does it? That's what I'm saying. You keep saying that as if it's a given. Because you see a motion of one thing towards another, you're saying pull. Now, pull would be a colloquial term to describe relatively that one thing goes towards another thing. But in mechanics, in the mechanics of reality, pull is not a mechanism. Give me an example of pull mechanically. Show me what you mean, or even explain it. Well,
again, the magnet is the only thing that I would think displays an actual pulling force.
So when I just showed the little video a minute ago of the tool that has a magnet within it, and there's a screw within the wood, and the magnet doesn't contact that, and when he revolves it, the screw correlates to the motion of the magnet. So
I didn't see that video.
So and it's the same with Eric Laithwaite showing a rack and pinion and removing the analog rack and replacing it with magnets, and he moves it, and the cog correlates to the same motion as the mechanical rack. So the principles of motion, that being push, still apply. So when somebody says pulling, then you need to show me pulling, because I've never witnessed it in my entire life. I do not know how pulling would even work. What is going on? What do you mean by pulling?
Well, so let's say I put a magnet in a vise or on a table, and I put a piece of steel next to it.
Yeah.
We're going to hit a threshold of that energy, and it's going to pull that steel towards it, correct?
You're using words like energy now as well. No.
I don't know what it is. I'm just trying to describe it.
Exactly, but that's what I'm trying to highlight for you. We can all describe it. I can use a magnet and say, oh look, that was attracted to the magnet, attracted that. They're just words. They're no mechanisms. They don't comport to reality. When I give you an example of motion, and I can show you endless amounts where it's a pressure variance, something presses on something else to make motion happen. That's reality. This notion of pull, that doesn't exist in reality. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, so for a compass to work, is there a mechanism of motion there that dictates where that compass moves to?
Did the compass move?
What's that?
Does the compass move?
Well, the little deal in there does.
Right, so there's a cause to that motion. So
but there's no physical mechanism, so therefore it seems to be a pulling force.
But it's the same in the example I just gave you. There is no physical mechanism, but if I display it in a rack and pinion or the little tool that I just exampled a minute ago, then it's the same principles. It's being pushed. The screw is being pushed. The rack, when it moves, is pushing on the cog to make it correlate and rotate in that direction. You can even see it. Look, when you look at magnets or you look at these ferrocells, you can see lines of something, right? There's a flow happening. The very same thing that I'm saying, something's moving in a particular direction that's having a knock-on effect that's impacting other things.
Okay, like I said, I just wanted to address that. I've been wanting to talk to you about that for years, but it's pretty minuscule compared to what I want to talk about. So your primary practical example of proving that there is motion would be the little closed experiment that you dropped, right?
You sound like Timmy. Does anybody think this guy sounds like Timmy?
I don't know who that is, dude. I've been, like I said, you've been one of the top people I respected in the world for years now, and I'm just trying to address the claim you're making.
There's a contradiction there, because see, if that was the case, you would know fine well that I've addressed this stuff with magnetism over and over and over again.
Well, no, I'm not talking about magnetism. We're past that now. I just wanted to ask about that.
No, your statement about me being the greatest thing since sliced bread and you've watched and this, that and the other, that's a contradiction to the question you just asked me about magnetism. Because had you been the person you say you are, you would know fine well that I've already addressed the magnetism thing, so you would have no need to ask me that question. So, are you telling lies now?
No, dude, I'm not, man. I'm trying to have a real conversation. I don't want you to get defensive. I'm not here to attack you.
I'm not being defensive. I'm just highlighting a contradiction in your statement.
Well, I mean, I'm here now because you seem to have gone the other way, and that's what I want to address. The magnet thing was just a separate thing I've been wanting to ask you for a long time.
I know, but you're still not addressing your contradiction. You've watched everything. You've been watching me for years, but you don't know.
Yeah.
But you don't know that I've responded to the magnetic thing, which I've done numerous times. So I'm just asking you. Did you just happen to miss
1,000 hours, man? Over 1,000 hours. I can't remember every bit.
All right, okay. I thought that would be prominent in your memory, so considering it's a prominent question in your mind. But anyhow, let's move on.
I don't think. Okay, all right. Yeah, I didn't feel like it ever got answered. That's why I just wanted to discuss it. But again, it's minuscule compared to what we're talking about now.
Cool.
Okay, so your primary proof that we're not stationary is the demonstrations you've been doing over the last several months, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so a zero-G plane, when that's using force by a motor to create that motion and a downwards acceleration, that's a man-made controlled system, right? Does that prove that we're moving upwards?
No, it just displays what happens when things there's no force exerted on them anymore.
Okay. Well, but there is I don't know if you need, I'm not too 100% sure on the zero-G plane if they use constant force to provide that downward motion, but either way, your experiment, you created something just like that zero-G plane. You created it. You took something that isn't existing in nature. You picked it up and dropped it. So you are the mechanism of force. You're the one that created that movement, right? Because you took it.
If I take the lighter just now and I take it up to here, I'm the cause of bringing it to here, right in front of me. But as soon as I let it go, I'm no longer connected to it. So why would somebody claim that it accelerated to the Earth? You need some cause for that.
Well, so the weight of it being heavier than the air,
no.
You are the cause because you took it out of its natural equilibrium.
No. Weight's relative. Weight's not a property of anything.
What do you mean weight's not a property? We use it all the time.
Right, okay, go and extract the weight of some object for me then and bring it to me.
What do you mean extract the weight? I mean
you're claiming weight as a thing in itself. So go and get me weight and show me it.
Well, you just picked up something that weighs more than the air itself, and then you released it, so you are the creator of that motion.
What do you mean it weighs more than the air itself? What, the same volume of that and the same volume of air would be a different weight? And what? How does that... You're saying it weighs more than the air. What, all the air? What, this lighter weighs more than the whole of the air? What are you talking about?
I'm just saying any object...
Aye? Any object what?
Any object that weighs something, aside from like a balloon that has a neutral weight that can just levitate.
So a balloon's not got any weight to it?
Well, I guess technically it does, but it finds that equilibrium, right?
So what is weight?
You would probably be better at explaining that than I would.
I'm explaining it to you. I'm asking you.
Well, I know, but
asking you these questions, the light bulb moment should be happening. Weight is not a property of anything. Weight is not an intrinsic value that's part of any mass or any matter. Go, if you think that's the case, that's what I'm saying to you. Extract the weight, isolate weight, and show me it and demonstrate it to me.
I guess I don't see where you're going with that, Del.
You're saying weight is some sort of force, right?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you take a heavy object that has some density, weight to it, and you pick it up and drop it, you are the one creating that motion by taking it out of its natural equilibrium.
No. If that was the case, then I would pick the object up, hold it in front of my face, and when I let it go, it would just stay there.
What? But you're the one creating. You're creating it though, just like the zero-G plane is creating that that environment.
Are you claiming then that I'm forcing the object towards the Earth? Is that your claim?
No, there is an up and down in nature. There, I mean, that's just
we're asking the question about what the cause of that would be. Why is it
again?
Case?
Okay, so a cloud.
Wait a minute. Right. So if you're going to say the object's weight or its density or whatever, why does it not go up the way?
Because there is an up and down in nature.
But what causes that? What dictates up and down?
I mean, what created you? What created all this, Del? I mean, there is just duality in everything.
We're not asking philosophical questions here. We're asking questions of physics, right? So what if it's weight or density that you say is the thing that causes it to move? Why does it not move up the way, left, right, or any other direction?
Because there is an up and down in nature. This world would be chaos if there wasn't.
You can keep saying that all you like. That's just a cop-out.
I don't think it's a cop-out, man.
Well, you can ask me any questions and I can just say that's just the way it is. That's just nature. Well, that's just the way God wants it to be.
Well, what is God? I mean,
so
again...
Well, what's weight? What is weight?
Well, weight is something we can measure, right? I mean, I have a scale. I can use real science to measure what the weight of something is.
Are you? You're measuring weight, are you? So then
I'm pretty sure.
If you claim you're measuring weight, you must be able to isolate the thing that you're calling weight and show me what that is.
Yeah, I put something on a scale and it shows the fucking weight.
Well, I'm not going to get around in circles. You're embarrassing yourself now. I'm showing you the error of your weight and you're not accepting it. You don't comprehend what you're even saying.
Okay, so a tree, Newton... let's go back to Newton and the apple, right?
No, let's stay on your nonsense. If I now put you... So you think weight's an intrinsic property, so you yourself, your body, you say weight is an intrinsic value of your body, correct? So now I put you in a rotating reference frame like a centrifuge, and your weight increases. How can that be?
Because you're applying some motion to it, right?
Exactly. So weight is relevant to what?
Oh, okay, all right. I see where you're going with that.
Exactly.
Okay. But again, okay. So now let's get back to your only proof that there is an upward motion or acceleration, however you want to say it. So your experiment is a closed system that you created, just like that zero-G plane.
No, stop, because you're not going to misrepresent me. What do you mean proof? Who claimed anything was proof? You've been coming on here aggressively for months now, calling, and you've had a big shift to your energy and attitude because you've always been a great and reasonable philosopher when it comes to talking to people. And now, hold on. Hold on. This is your platform, son. I won't hold on. No. You don't get to sit there and misrepresent me. No, I didn't claim anything as definitive proof. Right? I gave practical examples and came to the conclusion, and I followed through the logical steps about why I came to the conclusion. It's you lot that hear what you want to hear and then start misrepresenting me by attaching labels to me like you've just fucking done. And now you're showing the troll that you actually are.
Dude, I'm not a troll at all.
Are you?
I'm here to have a real conversation. You're getting defensive, man.
My only proof in my this and my that. No. It's based on a few demonstrations. Like the buoyancy and density motion vector ceases to be in freefall. Why?
Well, again, it's an assumption, but you created something that it doesn't exist in nature.
It's an observed fact. The motion of buoyancy and density ceases to be in freefall. Why?
It's the same as a zero-G plane. It doesn't mean that there's an upward motion. You created that controlled system.
There's no progress that can be had in this discussion here anymore. I think we should just end it right here and now.
Dale, come on, man. I really want to address this, dude.
I'm not going to get around in circles with somebody that's not equipped to have this discussion. I'm sorry. Until you're equipped that you can convey exactly what you're talking about and account for your assumptions and your statements, there's no point in having this discussion. We're just going to talk past each other until you grasp and have a comprehension of what you're actually talking about.
Well, I need your help then, and that's why I'm here.
I'm not here to hold your hand, son. You're a grown-ass man. Away you go and figure it out for yourself. Then once you've figured out whatever position you have, you can come back here and present your demonstrations and your conclusions and your steps of your reasoning for why you've came to those conclusions. Until you do that, it's pointless. Okay?
Well,
Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming.
No, I just want to say how an object reacts in a closed system at a free fall doesn't prove that what you're claiming.
Kidok, no worries. Have a nice day.
Dude, it's basically...
Dardania, yes, no worries for a private discussion anytime. Same for anybody that doesn't want to have a discussion, while it's on live. Just let me know and I'll have a discussion. I might even start just a private hangout midweek, and people can come and we can just have a chat or whatever that's no televised or whatever. That's fine. Anybody that wants to have a discussion, you can have a discussion. Of course you agree with the caller, Jolly Man, because his gobbledygook suits your fucking bias, son. Take it easy, Amanda. Alright, Vinny. Dale, you're not the man you're claiming to be. I'm exactly the man that I am. I'm not claiming to be anything. I just am. There is no difference in the way I've been from day dot to this day. None. Hang on 2 seconds. Weights, Alright, so if you fucking jump out an aeroplane and you've got a set of dumbbells, what happened to the weight? Well, that's right, once you're connected to the earth again, now you're going to be struggling. Oh dear. claiming that it's my fault, I'm the mechanism that makes that accelerate to the Earth somehow. You know, maybe I imparted some of my qualities onto it or something. I don't know what they imagine. It's like talking to a fucking brick wall sometimes. But it's worse than that. Because a brick wall knows it knows fuck all. These people think they know stuff. And they've got Dunning-Kruger. They're talking about things that just don't make any sense whatsoever. They're saying I've changed. My whole walk has been based in practicality and demonstrating things through practical means. None of that's changed. None of it. It's these people are showing that they've invested in some gibberish. Where did that comment go about the Thomas Cook flight? What happened there? When you lift an object, you impart potential energy upon it. No, you don't. Energy and energy transfer, what? Mathematical conceptual. I impart some mathematical concept onto the object. What are you talking about? What the fuck are you rambling on about? Why, their apple cart's well and truly rocked, fat plane. No worries, Scott. But the clue's in that, Eric Hartel, because if you ask yourself, you didn't like the idea, and then you have to ask, why did I not like that? What is it that makes them insecure? Is it programming that's told them to avoid it? Is it a feeling of insecurity? Do people feel more secure if they think it's so stationary? You know, a lot of these people are religious, and they think that they're talking for their God, and that they think their God would, I mean, even God would be looking at them and going, even God knows that you don't have directionality without motion of some kind. You know, God's no a dumb flat-hard or globe-tard. God's no operating on magic. Woo-woo. God's a fucking engineer, right? A rational, mechanical thinking fucking engineer. No a mathematician invested in fucking woo-woo. Energy transfer. So the psychology of this reaction is worth a study. And I'm going to say to you, one of the main things that was done to people was propaganda and the use of propaganda. And it's done quickly and sharply. Like anybody that comes to this, they're going to see from all these flat earthers, right? Flat earth society's controlled opposition. Why are they controlled opposition? Because they say the earth moves uniformly. Well, I better not entertain that because everybody's laughing at it. So now I'm back into groupthink dynamics. And people are not thinking for themselves. And because they've bought into the mantras, as soon as they hear somebody else talking about the thing that they've been told to avoid, they've got a natural reaction to try and ridicule it and shut it down. And that's my theory on it. There's also the fact that there's a lot of them here that are just deliberately here to try and steal this whole thing. I've heard these people claiming that relative density disequilibrium is a science experiment. Where you have to believe that density is a cause of motion. You know? Imagine any of these people getting into a physics environment and asserting stuff like this. I would love to see it. Does he, Scott Walker? You sure he didn't say he points it up 3.5 degrees? Because that's the way they need to fly. That's why boats are designed like that as well. You know, especially ones that have got a lower profile. Because if they don't and they dip their nose like that, there's a push, the same as, you know, air would push on the nose and cause it to do this. So they have to fly like that. To fly slightly nose up and try and maintain straight and level. Dale, can you address your claim, things just stop moving? No, things don't just stop moving like an instant unless there's something strong enough to resist their motion. Things lose momentum. Unless there's a power source continually pushing on them. Exactly, Tony Smith. Exactly. Well, for years opinionated Glaswegian, I went over and over the basics for people, and I'm tired of going over and over the basics. And if they want to get the basics, they can go back and watch previous stuff. And again, I'm here for me predominantly, about my journey and my progress. I'm not here to be anybody's guru or wake people up or this, that and the other. I'm not really interested in any of that. Right? I'm only interested in stand-up human beings that can think clearly, rationally, logically, and can convey themselves with manners and respect. And we can have progressive discussions and come to comprehension and have clarity and closure on things. Because that's who I am, that's how I operate. As soon as I'm met with irrational, illogical, manipulative lies, I've got a viciousness for it. I can't help it. That's who I am. That's how I deal with it. I've total contempt and disdain for that type because it doesn't help anything. Have we ever had a reasonable answer yet for how a stationary Earth gets a force to accelerate stuff towards it? Not only that, how this force acts upon gas and liquid to vary its force on them so that it can accelerate them without the displacement occurring towards a stationary Earth. Have we had any sort of reasonable response that can be articulated in a manner that can be ascribed to some sort of practical demonstration so that we can grasp it? No, I didn't think so. Do you know why? Because it's nonsense. It's always going to be nonsense. And, you know, asking for, oh, well, maybe it's something else that we don't know about yet that we might discover in the future. Who does that sound like? Oh, we don't know the cause of the Big Bang. We'll just assume the Big Bang's true, but we don't know the cause, but we might know in the future. Exactly, Tony. Yes, they're surrounded by air. They're in a dynamic system with a heat source. There's expansion and contraction happening. There's a cycle that's going on. Right? We've got air moving all over the place. Air causes friction. Air's not a solid that would be connected to the earth and moving up like that with the earth, you fucking spastic. You've been answered, Urban Spaceman? I don't know. If I'm pulling a car towards me, does this mean that something is pushing that car? Eh? Have I got to get back to this again? Right. So, first and foremost, are you using a rope? Are you using another car to tow the other car? Or are you just using a rope to bring the car towards yourself? Well, here's the thing. When you pick the rope up, you apply pressure to it, right? Push, right? Now you need to make sure you've got grip, friction, so that you can convert the push in that direction. Because see if it's a rope that you can't get grip on. Oh, whoops. You don't do anything. But see, once you can grip it, you're now converting the direction of motion that way and pushing it. You're pushing on the rope. The rope's going to be run some eye, so it goes through the eyelet like that, and now the pressure's coming here. As the rope goes this direction, it puts a pressure here on the eyelet and pushes on the car to bring it towards you. Ta-da! Oh wow, isn't physics fun and wonderful? It's so simple. No, I control anger. This is how they try and paint wee pictures of people. They're manipulators. They're just manipulators. They're trying to paint pictures. That's what they do. That's their tools. That's the tools of the weak. The tools of the weak try and portray you in little pictures. Let them continue on. Exactly, Richie. But they're so enamoured by their own gibberish that they don't stop the irrationality and actually have a look at what's happening. But they want to come here and talk about physics, but they don't even pay attention to their own interaction with the world around them. It's fucking ridiculous. My God, suspension bridges are curved to compensate for 2,000 feet. What? Eh? Suspension bridges are built using Euclidean principles. Blueprints and the basics of construction are plumbing level. Nobody is designing anything on a curved datum line. Nobody. And if you're trying to build something on a curve, you cut through the curve. You dig into the curve so that you can make things plumb and level, because that's what your blueprints show. So constructors don't use spherical geometry for construction. They use Euclidean plane geometry. Plumb, level. Ta-da! Again. If people weren't so incompetent and lazy, they would comprehend these stuffs. gas dissipates in all directions. Why does helium balloons go? Why do they not go like that to the side? Why are helium balloons not going phew, or up diagonally? Why is that? Fuck knows, Glenn, but it fucking rains here, that's all I know. Right, anyhow, I'm going to get off. I'm going to get off, Ski Popples. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'm not away yet, Jacqua. A bit premature. I was building up to the goodbye. I'm being very rude. I'm having to deal with this right now. I'm very sorry about that. Demand a refund on your payment. Does rain fall down because of an upward force or because a cloud released it? Now we're gonna say clouds accelerated raindrops towards the earth. Right, I'm out of here. I've had enough of the fucking stupid. If any of you have got the cojones to actually have a discussion with me, then send me an email. Okay? Take care of yourselves now. Bye bye.